Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Between the Lines. I'm your host, Jeanette Huffman, and we are speaking with Edwin Vasquez today. And he's going to tell us a little bit about his backstory, where he's from, what brought him here. So, Edwin, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Edwin Vasquez, originally from Quetzaltenango, Guatemala. Quetzaltenango is known as the second city in importance in Guatemala. It's the cradle of the arts. And I was exposed to art since the very beginning. My father, Roberto Vasquez, was a poet, played music, and so I think it was just from him that I got the gift of seeing things different. And so I was telling you about how in Guatemala there's a lot of art, the color of the houses, the doors. So you're exposed to a lot of art, and for us, it's just something natural. And so that's where I think I became an artist, and something that it was just, for me, it was nothing that I was showing. I used to play soccer, semi-professional football soccer, and so that was my whole life, running and exercising, and so. But when I came into the United States, then I decided that that's what I wanted to do.
So what brought you to the United States?
Yeah, Guatemala had a war for 45 years. It was an internal war. And so my mother, who never explained to me or told me why she sent me to the United States, sent me. I came over to the United States and next thing I know, I'm in a new country with learning a new language and trying to adapt and make a life, leaving all my family, friends, everything behind. And so I guess that's why I'm here.
How old were you?
I don't remember. I was about 15, 16 years old. And so my goal as an artist, I wanted to go to Europe. I wanted to go to France to study art because a lot of my generation of artists, they immigrated to Europe. And so that's where they went. And so, I came into the United States and I just decided, okay, this is where I am and I'm going to start making the best I can. And here I am, 30 years later.
Were you scared when you came all by yourself, right?
I came in by myself, but I have family.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came to a family no, my family was established. So, no, I was not alone in a sense, but I came into the family that I had no idea who they were. I didn't know, it's a totally transformation. I had to adapt immediately and start thinking, okay, what am I going to do? So the first thing was, okay, I'm going to learn the language, to assimilate, and to start learning the laws of the United States, the Constitution, everything. Because of I always liked to study. I was able to go to Venice High School for English as a second language. Went to West LA College, went to Antelope Valley College, and that's as far my education took me. But my house is full of books, so we read constantly. That's has been my life here.
Well, you definitely come across as very adventurous. You don't seem like you scare easy.
You also right and know this. As a poet, if I want to write something, I have to live first. When I write something, it's because I live it. So in poetry or in short stories, I just kind of tell the story of something that I experienced, something that I observe, photograph, witness, read about. And so that's So I'm not as scared. There's certain things that scare me, like immigration now, the ICE people trying to stop people for no reason whatsoever. That scares me.
Yes.
It scares me not only for me, but for my kids and for people who have my color, But as far as being scared, no, life is an adventure. We have a very ephemeral life. And many people go through this life without leaving a footprint. And so, as you can tell, I am leaving a hell of information about who I am, not only in videos, in photographs, in documentation, in writing, in books, in magazines, and stuff like that. Because the future generations, if they want to know who I was, they can Google my name and find out who I was, and they will see what I created. It was because I was not afraid. What I'm afraid is not waking up one day and have nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I will be terrified.
Right.
But as long as I continue creating and making things, we artists are makers. Once we make stuff, we're happy.
Yes. Well, it's like it's world changing because it's inspirational to other people. You're putting something out there. It's a part of you and you're sharing it with those people. And so when you're doing poetry or you're making art or you're writing or I'm writing, I feel like it hits people differently because it's real, like it's a part of us instead of just a lot of people talk about AI and how AI could just randomly create all of this. And I don't think so, because you have to experience life so that you can help other people see it through your eyes.
Yeah.
They feel it when they're reading your poetry, or they're looking at a piece that you've made.
Yeah, it's different. You mentioned AI. When I was doing this series of the Yosha trees, I wanted to take photographs of the Yosha trees, but I wanted to make the images with AI that they were vibrant, colorful, without losing the shape of the Yosha tree. The Yosha tree still exists, but I did it with the idea of showing to the young generation, because they're used to color. They used to those kind of bright colors images. And so much so that the Santa Clarita Arts, they saw the images I was posting, and they invited me to have a show of Joshua trees created with AI. But I told them, this tree exists. They're alive and they're thriving. But I wanted to do it in this new tool that I'm using to create. So it is all depend. That you cannot escape. Everything is AI right now. But in order for us to be creative, if we don't have a life, if we don't have experiences, then yeah, of course, you can go and tell the computer, write this, but you haven't read it. You have no idea. You can read it. It's beautiful, but it's not life experience. Not like what you write. You read about what you wake up and you've seen, experience, smell, taste it.
Yeah.
And so that you cannot take that away.
No, and I think you hit on something very important, is that AI is a good tool, but it's a tool, just like a paintbrush. It's not the artist. It's a tool that the artist can use.
And it is here to stay, and it is very difficult to fight it. But I don't use the AI as much as I was using it, but I learned to use the tools. I spent about 2-3 years learning and reading and experimenting, creating stuff. And so now what I do is I show you some of my journals, and I pick up one of the poems I wrote 20 years ago. I rewrite it, put it on AI to correct my grammar, not to write it for me, just to correct the grammar and to help me make it better, to select better words that will make sense. So I'm very strict when I give instructions to AI. I write the prompts and I say, no music, no video, no alteration. I want my word 100%. I want my voice to be what it is. And then once I give the parameters, then, I come over and I get something that sometimes all you need is the title of the work, because everything is already correct. I write in a lyric form, and so a lot of the poems that I've written, they're basically songs. Then all they need is a bridge and a chorus and an outro. But so that's that to me, AI is a tool.
I agree. I use it for the same thing, formatting.
I do not pay for it. I use the free, version.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. No need to pay. Use the tools that are available for you, so that way you don't feel good.
Exactly.
A lot of my work is created in a series, meaning I do from 5 to 20 to 50 pieces if I'm working with clay, or if I'm doing paintings, usually that series is about 3, 4 to 10 paintings. One of the most important projects I did has to do with the Joshua Tree here in the Antilla Valley. You know, the Joshua Tree National Park has a lot of the resources. They have money. They have people protecting, rangers, but not here in our community. So when I saw what's happening in our area, and a lot of the Joshua trees were getting destroyed, so I decided, well, I'm going to take pictures of the Joshua trees in the environment, just to capture the spirit of the area where we live. And so the project is called the Joshua Tree Chronicles. So hashtag the Joshua Tree Chronicles, and they'll see the trajectory for now. We're going on 3 years creating those pieces. Last week, I was so happy to see one of the images that I captured of the Joshua Tree that is in Avenue H in 10th was published in a magazine, in an anthology. I'll show you the image, and it was such a great feeling to see that I can share a plant that has been survived for many years in our community, but is being overlooked by the growth in our area. I also work in a series of bicycle seats. Every time I find a bicycle seat in a garage sale, or when I find it, I try to think about what can I paint. And I've been creating a lot of the animals from the area, from ravens to antelopes. So that's how I work in a series.
I have a question. Why mask?
Why mask?
Yeah, why mask?
Well, we all wear that. Masks, we all wear masks. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up as who you are, and as soon as you just change your stuff, you just put out the mask and you're going to work. And when you're working, that's the mask you carry on the whole day. And then, that goes for doctors, for lawyers, for teachers, for everyone that is a human being. We wear masks as protection. When I did a series of the masks in 2020, clay was not in my practice. And Warren Sherrick, Maestro Warren Sherrick, who was so kind, he asked if I wanted to do something with clay. And we started talking. He said, make masks. So I started creating masks. And the idea of starting the mask with, I wanted to do the Mayans. I wanted to do my culture. I'm from Guatemala originally. And so I wanted to create some kind of homage to the Mayans. But in 2020, you can tell that, we all were very tense. And during that time, we had one of the biggest fires here in our area. The acres and acres were destroyed. And a lot of the Joshua trees that were hundreds of years old were destroyed, and the ecosystem was basically burned down. And so I switched. Instead of continue doing the mask with faces, then they became char pieces. And I started creating the mask with Joshua trees on it, with yucca, with poppy flowers, with animals that represent our area. So because it was kind of that experience of not only it was very hot in summer when I was doing it, and there was a big fire, and you can smell the smog, and then going to the kiln and fire those masks in heat. So it was very unusual. But that's to answer your question, that's why I do masks. I think it's masks are important in many cultures. The Aztec, the Mayas, the Incas, and the Africans, they have some of the most amazing masks. And even Picasso was so starstruck from them that he created a series of the Mayan masks, being inspired on the African masks.
So when you find the bicycle seats, do you already have an idea of what you want it to become? Or does it just, as you're working with it, it just becomes what it's going to become?
When I started doing the bicycle seats, the idea that I had was that I was going to create animals. but with the idea of going to schools and bring the pieces to the kids, and for them to see the art pieces, and they see and ask them, "What do you think is this?" And then I've shown several of those pieces. Even the grown-ups are like, "There's a bicycle seat." And the idea that you can create something from nothing, or something that is already had her function in life, you can make something else. And I like to make art. So that was basically why I started creating the bicycle seats. So the kids see that sometimes they may have a bicycle seat at home that is not, they're going to go in the landfill. They can use it to create art. They create something that they can enjoy and have in their house.
So you wake up their creativity. Like when I was a child, I lived in the country, and we have minimal TV, just the free channels. And so we would go outside and play, and we'd be out running around. Kids don't seem like they do a lot of that anymore. It just doesn't seem like the imagination is there as much. Maybe that we don't just let them focus on that. Instead, we're saying, go play sports and go finish your homework and study so you can be a doctor. But it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are saying, go create something.
Yeah. Well, it all depends. All depends where you are. And unfortunately, technology has a lot to do with that. That kids are connected in social media ways, playing games, interacting in a different way that we used to. We used to run behind a soccer ball and play for hours and hours and hours. But times have changed. And so, they have to adapt. And, as parents, there's no manual that tell us how we can raise our kids or how can we do it. We just have to kind of guide them the best possible way. And you mentioned that we want our kids to be doctors. The best thing is for them to decide what do they want to do, what they're making happy. When I have 3 kids, we encourage them to have great education, to read, to give love for reading and writing, but we never told them what to do. And I think that's one of the most important things that my family has done, is let them choose their choice where they're going to be happy.
I agree. I like that, because there's a lot of pressure on kids. I feel like it should be what they want to do. It should be what makes them happy, because in my mind, we're here for this infinitesimal amount of time on this earth. Be happy. Do what you love. This is beautiful. There's so many different, you're a photographer, you're a poet, you're a painter, you create sculptures.
Yeah, the term will be a multidisciplinary artist. That's how I define myself and people call me. But to me, creating those things are easy because I grew up in Guatemala, in Quetzaltenango specifically, where you can go to a coffee shop. There was one in particular, it was called the Blue Bird, El Pájaro Azul. You come in and then you see in a corner somebody writing a song with a guitar, making the scores and making the notes. And there you see in the other corner, have a cup of coffee, writing poetry. I had the luxury of sitting, having a cup of coffee while 2 of the bright minds in that era were talking about politics, about sports, with the same enthusiasm as when they were teaching in college. So because I grew up with all that, to me, it's something natural. I learned all that. We would start painting with coffee, diluted coffee and brushes, and that's how we started doing the art. I wanted to be an artist, a professional artist, but I never got the support that I wanted. And I'm so thankful for that, because that allowed me to maintain the freedom to create what I want, when I want it, how I want it. I create for myself. I create the ideas. I think about what am I going to do, and then execute the ideas and make the what is in my mind available for the people to see. You were at the Lancaster Museum. That's one of the exhibits that I am involved with. I have my solo show, and that's how it started. I said, what am I going to do? So I start thinking an idea, execute it, finish everything, And once again, that wouldn't be possible without the artist community. The big canvas that is in the museum was gifted by Marthe Pont, which is one of the French artists, dear friend. The clay and the studio where the masks were fired were Warren Sherrick and Karen, who is an amazing artist as well. And so I got the collaboration with the museum so we can put together a nice cohesive installation. And so I think that's the freedom of creating things.
I really enjoyed the show at the MOA.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Fun. There were a lot of really cool pieces that just, I mean, those huge.
But
Yes. Oh my God. How long would it take to make that?
it takes a while. But I don't know the artist, but I'm very sure that he probably has a team to assist him. I think he's based in San Francisco area, but he's an amazing artist. You can see the colors, that there's vibrant, there's life. And that's what we want to create for our community, the artist community. That's why, inviting everybody to go and see the show, support the Lancaster Museum by attending, subscribe to the website, to the newsletters. They have so many activities for the community. They do a lot of workshops, and they are open for the community. And one of the things that I really love about this show at the MOA is that it is a all Hispanics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you notice, they're all Hispanics except for the collection. They're all Hispanic. I think it's the first time it's done. It's a new leadership in the museum, and this is the vision is about community. And so that's where I want to be. I want to participate. And what you saw took 2 years to create, from the conception, from the idea, from the study. I watch, documentaries about the Mayans, about the culture and what I wanted to say. And then I create each mask with their own identity, their own story to create the fragments.
Yeah.
So that's how we work.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a lot of turnout at the show? It seemed like it when we showed up. It was kind of standing room only, at points in time. There were a lot of people there. I
was very happy to see the community responding, but also I saw faces, artists that haven't been in the museum for like 7-8 years, but they came out now and they saw what they're doing, and it was very refreshing. Mm-hmm. Have their support. I got some people from the Art Commission from Palmdale came over to see it. There was Mr. Campano, who is a prominent lawyer here in the Antilla Valley. He's very supportive of the community. He was there. He brought his kids. Kids were having fun, and so it was a great success for what we were expecting. So yeah, and not only that, but we're going to have some of the artists are going to have talks, and they're going to bring you through the exhibition and talk about their work. In my case, I decided, as part of the community, create a poetry reading. So we're going to be creating. I invited 5 poets that are amazing poets that are in our community. And I'm going to be reading with them. And hopefully we'll get some food, and I'm going to document all that stuff, video and photographs and stuff. And want to make sure that the community takes part. So this will be available for the public to... Yes, for the public to attend. Once that is happening, we'll make the announcement. But yeah, there's the best way to find about that is going to the Lancaster Museum website and subscribe. They have a newsletter. They have an email list, and they have a lot of programs that if you have a school that needs something going, they can contact the museum. They'll be able to help them. I think that's amazing because you have Lancaster, Quartzdale, Palmdale, Edwards Air Force Base, California City as well. Oh yeah. Boron, Tehachapi. They're all close enough that it would just be a wonderful opportunity for the local school children to be able to take
One of the
part.
things that the museum does is if a school is interested in bringing some of the kids, I think they get in contact with them and they can provide the transportation for the school to come in. Or if the school provides the transportation, they provide the lunches and stuff, and they give them a guided tour. and they show what is displayed. This happening in our community, and we're lucky to be part of that. This is how some of the masks that I had with one of my sculptures of the torso family there. These are just some of the images that one of the masks that I had.
Now, was that here?
Yeah,
Okay,
this is where
okay.
it was. Here I'm painting a chalk in Lancaster. They did it so. It was for the Black History Month, so I created this image. This one, you see where my installation is right now, in the museum.
Yeah.
This is where the same wall.
Oh, that's so stinking cool.
Yeah. So we invited the community to do to bring photos of the loved ones who passed, and so we painted the wall yellow and created stuff like that. See right there on the very top is the Darth Vader that I painted as a day of the death. Depending on what I'm working on, if you notice, like for instance, that particular piece, that one was created when my wife was working at the library. The children's library needed some art. So I created this piece for the children's library. It was there for 10 years. And I created the airplanes. I created, about 100 airplanes that they were on display there at the library for the children. And the patches are the original patches by that they were by the pilots. So
what I see underneath, is that like from Toy Story?
yeah,
That's so cool.
The little
I
kid.
love it. Yes. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, this is another installation that I did in San Pedro. No, I don't remember where I did this, but this one, when it was done, I had these crutches right here. They had a viewfinder for rifle, and you can actually see and pretend you're firing. And the reason I created the rifle from these crutches was because our system is broken. They're destroyed. These two bricks are outside. Is thoughts and prayer, because that's the first thing that the politicians said. Oh, thoughts and prayer, like it's gonna bring their people alive.
Right.
And all these are these right here are spray paint cans that I painted. They're right there on the very top.
Oh, I see up there.
Yeah. And so in this one kind of circle around, and it had a target. And these are the toys the kids were killed on the schools were not coming back home to play with.
Yeah.
So that's one of the. See, this is for the arcade of hypermodernity. Yeah, created by Jason Jean and Boisla. They created an amazing show. This is an installation I did in Long Beach, the Joshua tree. Instead of putting a pedestal, I use sand, and all these pieces were made with cement. So they're made with cement, and I have a little screen here running with Joshua trees, these kind of Joshua trees, and the paintings, and how these right here are disappearing. The back, I don't know if you see the lines there, the Putin, the every time they fly the planes. These are the
chemtrails.
Chemtrails right here.
Yeah.
So that was the installation that I did for this. Is for these for the Joshua trees. And so, outside, remember I told you about the boxes. Those were the fractals are.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this fractals are. I gave in the museum, when you come into the museum on the second floor with the stairs and the first floor, that's where the installation was placed. I created only a couple of them because I figured the manager of the museum probably wanted to just get 4 and enlarge them, and she wanted 200. So I ended up creating 200. This was before AI, so I had to write the format for the fractal, so it will be round, so you can see all the fractals are round, and inside there are planets, stars, and galaxies from NASA.
Yeah.
So that was
That's really
got
cool.
200 of them.
How long did that take you?
It's about 2 years.
Wow.
About 2 years to make all of them. And the idea was, because this one was before the pandemic, we just got them out of the box and put one out of the box without even looking what it was.
Mhm.
But the idea for me, when I created this series, I needed in greens, I need blues, purples, so I could make it in any shape or form I wanted. But unfortunately, the pandemic hit and nothing, we couldn't do anything with this.
Wow.
This one is in Coors Hill in the
Mhm.
studio Warren Sherrick, the maestro who has a studio there with clay.
Mhm.
So I created all these pieces, and they're buried on his backyard. And he created all this, and he invited several artists. But this is what so basically he is burying a lot of his work.
Mhm.
In 1,000, 2,000 years from now, when they discovered all that, he's going to be like, oh, who is this guy?
Mhm.
And so that's one share. But he's always been with us. I created one is the Fat Boy, the first atomic bomb that was
Sweet.
created. And so kind of when people open it up and see it, they were like, oh, this is an atomic bomb.
Mhm.
And so I left messages there. I wrote messages. And these pieces of clay were not painted,
Mhm.
only these 3. And then there were 4 of them. And then the rest were just scribbles,
Mhm.
excerpt from my poetry or thoughts that I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you've created your own little archaeological dig site for the future.
Because of Warren. He's an encyclopedia, an amazing human being and great, great person. So yeah. So these are the things we have been participating. This is in Little Rock in school. Christopher Munsell, he's also an amazing artist. He invited several artists to paint lizards, because there's a lot of lizards in the schoolyard, and they didn't want the kids to be afraid, so we painted. I painted 2 lizards in there.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is part of some of the stuff that I'm
So Edwin, where can people find your work, or where can they find you on social media?
My handle in Instagram is @Edwin Vasquez. I have a YouTube channel where they can see and hear some of my music and interviews that I've done over the years. Edwin Vasquez 100, Edwin Vasquez 100. That's my YouTube channel. And my website is edwinvasquez.net, all short letters. And you'll see a lot of the work that I've done, and will be the best way to find the pieces. Because I have the Joshua trees, I have masks, I have things that we talk about, things, some of the stuff you've seen. And if anybody in the future would like to visit the home studio, welcome to get in contact with me. All my information is on my website, emails, and phone. And we just encourage everyone to read, first of all, and to make art. It's important. It's a good way to live.
I was just going to ask you that. If you have a message to send out to all the viewers, all the listeners, what would that message be?
All right. As an interviewer myself, that's one of the questions I always ask. And it's one of the hardest things to tell people, because we are all so different. The important thing, early when we were talking about one piece where I have all the rejection letters, that I shredded and I made it into an art piece, be persistent and pursue what you like. If you like art, visit museums, visit galleries, read books about art, learn about artists, watch YouTube channels. If you like poetry, go to a poetry reading, see who are your poets in your area. Try to get in contact with them and ask them questions. Their poets are very friendly, and they want to share their craft. So no matter what your interest is, just pursue it. Keep doing, be persistent. And the most important thing is create for yourself. Do not create with the expectations of other people or what do they think or they like. No. Make something that make you happy. Once you create something that you are satisfied with, then you can share it with the rest of the world, and they can have their opinion. It is their opinion. It will not change the fact that you created, because that's what you wanted to create. That's what I would like to say, and just persist.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you letting us into your home and your studio, for feeding us and for having a wonderful conversation throughout the entire time. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And thank you to your producer for the time.